Okay. Hi, my name is Hafid. Some of you might know me as Hafidos. Welcome to the Late Night Talks podcast. Wait, let me get comfortable. So, hi. Hello. Welcome to the Late Night Talks podcast. My name is Hafid. Welcome to the first ever official video. Well, welcome to the first ever official episode of the Late Night Talks podcast. You might be listening to this over on Spotify or iTunes or YouTube. If you're seeing me on YouTube or Spotify, hi. Thank you for tuning in to the video. I might be bit nervous, but I feel like if I just get started and get into it, it'll be much better. Today's episode, I should start saying episode rather than video, but today's episode is going to be a bit different. Well, no, it's not going to be a bit different. I've never done this. Today's episode is going to be a bit lighthearted, and I did not want to start off with some, crazy topic. I want to keep it quite lighthearted and quite chill and easy. I want to talk about what the podcast is, what is Late Night Talks, and I also want to talk about me as an individual. Some of you might not know me, although I do have quite the extensive history online. I've been doing YouTube, mainly YouTube, yeah, and Instagram, I guess, and TikTok, although I don't do short form content, I mainly do long form content. I've been doing those for, I'd like to say, 5 years. When I was 16 and now I'm 21, yeah. So I've been doing that since 2019, I think. Yeah. But I've started taking it quite seriously this year because I just graduated and I've been doing a degree course in creative media production, which has been so nice, but it has finally come to an end. So I feel like I can officially start doing things I like and start doing things that I enjoy. And yeah, that does include YouTube, but also does include me starting my podcast officially because I've been working on this for quite some time. I've been thinking about it, and I've always wanted a space where I could just express myself and talk about how I feel. Although I do have YouTube and like the online platform, it's quite nice, but I don't really find myself sitting down and talking as much. Who am I? So, my name is Hafid. I am a content creator and aspiring creative director. I really want to work in the music video industry and also the industry where short form videos and films are created. So, short films, fashion films, music videos, all of those really just speak to me. I recently, as I've said, graduated in creative media production. Creative media production, for those of you who don't know, is basically, it's not photography. It's not, I don't know, whatever people say, like photography. I've heard like video recording, although it's not just that. And some people say, oh, it's only editing. It's basically just creative media. As much as the title does say creative media, you might be like, what is that? Mainly, if you want to just sum it up, it's films, it's filmmaking, it's all of that. And yeah, we touch upon multiple things. I think it's quite similar to filmmaking since it has the hands-on approach and most of our assignments are films and short films and all of that. But yeah, I do feel like there's a bit of a difference between a film studies degree and what I did. But I like the degree I did because I am a content creator and also an aspiring creative director. So for those of you who don't know, I create content currently, although I do create content for myself, which is stuff like this. So I also do upload vlogs and I do also upload videos of my own. I also work as a content creator in events and mainly in fashion and music. So I do events such as parties and also club events. Here in Malta, there's quite the culture for, I don't know, like having the clubbing nights and having weekend long events where stuff happens. So, for example, summer days, recently I just did Defected, which is like a party I didn't really know much about, but it was quite a nice vibe. There's also like Trip Festival, Earth Garden, a lot. There's a lot of events and there is quite the market for it. So I just basically go into these events and I record them and I upload to socials. I mainly do all of this on my phone, which I can finally show off. I feel like I don't show off my phone that much since I'm always recording on it. But this is my phone. I have a Pokemon card on the back. Funny story about this. A lot of people think I opened up a pack for Pokemon cards. I did not. I growing up, I used to have Pokemon cards. I don't have no clue on where they are. I also had Moshi Monster cards. If any of you know what those are, like Moshi Monster cards, I had a whole binder full of them. I had many cards, but this this card came from a so dumb, from a McDonald's a Happy Meal pack. And when I opened it, I never heard of Growlite before, but when I saw him, I was like, that's my Pokemon. You know when you see something and you're like, oh, that's me. This is me as a Pokemon. Like Growlite seems like such a Hafidos vibe. But yeah, this is my phone. This is my wallpaper, which I'm really happy with. Like my current wallpaper. I'm also filming this at almost 3 a.m., which is a vibe for this podcast. Something I really wanted to establish was, since it's called Late Night Talks, I wanted to record it and Loki wanted to release it when it was late at night. The vibe that we're establishing for this is like chill vibes. You're on FaceTime with a friend, you're just sitting down and you're talking. So I don't want to hear any of like, I don't know, like people being like, oh, you don't really talk about much, which is like, I don't know, dramatic or like political. Or the agenda for this podcast is just to chill out, talk into some like really deep topics, but also at the same time not take ourselves too seriously. It's a chill vibe. I wanted a space for me to be able to express myself, but not only myself, I also want you guys to engage with me. So if you have any thoughts about some topics I talk about, please do, I don't know, pitch in. I am going to be talking a lot about, like, this season is going to be talking a lot about mental health and well-being of oneself. So self-acceptance, self-love, body positivity, you understanding what you want versus what you need, and also letting go of the past and like growing as a person. All of that is quite like important to establish as a foundation for yourself before you get into anything else within life. Like I feel like life is so weird, difficult, and it's just overall it's such a unique experience to every individual that I shouldn't be here telling you how you should be living your life. I should be talking about my experiences and telling you, hey, listen, this is what I've learned from this is what I've learned from that, and this is what I do, and this is how I feel about this topic and that topic. And you could be like, oh, yeah, I really relate to this, or no, I don't really understand that. And you can sort of bounce off of me and give me your thoughts as well. So, my journey with the podcast started out years ago. So, back in 2020, okay, this is a bit of a like an expose, but I started my podcast off with another title titled Dose of Hafidos. But Dose of Hafidos was more different since I tried creating content based around Hafidos. And then on my podcast, I would talk about it. So the first episode was me faking my birthday trip to Coachella. This was back in 2020. And it was, no, 2020 or 2021. I think 2 years ago. And I turned 20. No, 2 years ago when I turned 18. And now I'm 21. So it's, okay, I think somewhere around the years of 2020 and 2021, in between those two, it was my birthday weekend. And something about my birthday is it always is, I mean, it always is on the same day. Shocker, that's how birthdays work. But it always lands on the second weekend of Coachella. And I am always jealous and I always envy the people that end up going to Coachella. Although the more I grow up, the shittier I look at Coachella and I'm like, it's not giving what it used to give. It could be me growing up, or it could be just Coachella going down the drain, you know? Like it could be the quality's going, But yeah, every year I would get really jealous and I'd be like, I really want to go. I really want to go. I feel like, I don't know. Not once I get there, I would not enjoy myself. Like I'm not the festival type unless I'm with friends. If I'm alone, I'm like, get me out of here. I just want to be in bed. I just want to be home, listening to music or watching a film. That's that's something about me. I'm quite like a homebody. But back in 2000, I think it was 2021, I got COVID and I had to quarantine for 2 weeks. But then I tested positive again, so it was 3 weeks. But then I was fine after the third week. But basically, halfway through, when I realized I couldn't get out by the second week, I realized I'll be spending my birthday inside. And this was my second year or third year spending my birthday inside because of COVID. So yeah, I think it was 2021 because yeah, 2019, 2020, 2021. Yeah, makes sense, I think. I feel like it does. I ended up faking my entire trip over on Instagram and I faked myself going there. And no, none of my friends knew. No one knew anything. And I would just pretend like I was at Coachella, and everyone just believed me. And then I posted a YouTube video being like, "Hey, it was fake," and everyone's like, "Huh?" But no one actually watched the YouTube video. So I feel like there's a percentage of like friends of mine that know me that think I actually went to Coachella. And I don't know how to break the news to them. I don't know how to be like, hey, that didn't happen. Because like the Instagram views, like the Instagram stories got views. Everyone was messaging me being like, oh my god, you went to Coachella. And then the YouTube video flopped. Like I think, yeah. And it was my first episode of the podcast, which was Dose of Hafidos. And that lasted for 2, 3 episodes and it was over. I didn't like it anymore. I got demotivated and I was like, never mind. This time around, I was inspired to create something a bit different. I didn't want it to be so uptight and so serious. Whenever I take things seriously, I feel like I ruin them myself because I get so stressed about it not going well and not like it not going right. So I keep on telling myself, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like even now, doing this, if you're seeing me a bit like a bit closed off, a bit reserved, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. But whenever I'm starting something new, I'm always like really nervous and I'm always like, I hope it's good. I hope it's great. But I feel like it's best when I just chill out and I don't take it so seriously and I just act like myself. Something I really need, like, I really, something I really learned throughout the years is me understanding that me acting myself is the best way for me to present myself to people. Because when I try to be someone else, it's not sustainable, it's not healthy mentally, and people can just tell. People can just tell when you're not yourself, and people can just tell, like, oh, this person doesn't feel like they're the most authentic. And I don't know, authenticity is so nice and it's so great. Like, being yourself is so unique and so different. Like, no one else is like you. So, why try to act like someone else when you can just be yourself? Like, you should be inspired by others, you should look up to others for sure, but like being your own authentic self is just so nice and it's so like fulfilling. Like even me, when I like even me saying that right now really helps me because we get so stressed over these situations about, like, I don't know, how am I going to be perceived in the eyes of these new people or this new boss or this new manager or this new person that I'm working with. And the more I like work these crazy jobs, I guess, like, I go to events where there's like these people who have like millions of followers, and when I meet them, well, the like one time I meet them, um, they just seem so authentic and so nice, and I feel like the bigger you get, I guess, the more of a following you get. You understand why people follow that person and why people look up to that person. We look up to people because we like the way they are, but we don't look up to people that act like others. Because if people acted like others, we would go to the person that was the original, I guess, if you want to say that. So like, just act yourself, be the most authentic, and of course, like, be a nice person. That's like a general rule of thumb. Like, don't be a bad, mean person, because it'll like bite you in the ass, and people can just like push you to the side. Like, look at people like Jennifer. Is it Jennifer Lopez? Yeah, J Lo. But yeah, she's not the nicest of celebrities, and people have just gotten over her, and they're like, why is she even like a celebrity? She's not even like good at this or that, and people just critique you even more. So I don't know, be nice, be authentic, be yourself. To your friends, to your family, to everyone, to anyone. That's it. So the point of this podcast is, I don't know, what is the point of this podcast? Something I like told myself, thought about it, but not really like, I don't know, gave myself a reason. There is no reason for this podcast. Because in reality, why do we exist? That's that's a deep ass question. Why did I no? Oh god. But yeah, the point of this podcast is just me to yap. Like, it's a space for me to talk. I get to yap, I get to, I don't know, talk, and I get an excuse where I can just, I don't know, talk about these topics, even though they're not that relevant to what I do in terms of content creation. Like, they don't tie into anywhere. But I don't know, I find myself staying up late at night where I just think to myself. And it's weird because I swear to God, like halfway through the night, I like shift over from one personality to the next. And this could be like some sort of mental condition. I don't know. Like, I don't have any official diagnoses. Also, I swear to God, the TikToks that come up that keep on telling me I have ADHD, they're hitting like, I swear to God, I've been convinced I have ADHD, but at this point, I think everyone has ADHD, and I don't know. Like, I don't want to label myself as having something if I don't have the official diagnoses. And I also don't want to put down people who are actually diagnosed and like take medication and like seek help for it. So, but yeah, like I really should do a checkup. I should really like go to a doctor or something. But basically, not the point of this. Like, I'll do that after. I'll find myself late at night telling myself one thing, and then the next thing is totally different. Like, for example, I tell myself, oh, tomorrow I'm dieting. And then all of a sudden, I keep on telling myself, oh, I'm going to do this, now I'm going to do that. Of course, it's unhealthy. Of course, it's like some crazy ass diet. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to walk. I'm going to run 10 kilometers and like I'm going to do this. I'm going to die. I'm not going to eat all day until like it's nighttime. I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. and I don't know, have a morning routine which consists of 10 steps, and then I'm gonna, I don't know, take a green smoothie and a ginger shot and basically do everything that the media portrays as being healthy and wow. And if you follow K-pop, the K-pop industry, it's basically like that industry even more pushes that ideal that, oh, look at these amazing perfect people that aren't really perfect, but like let's pretend like they're perfect. They go through so much like strict dieting and I don't know, strict workout schedules, and just everything is so crazy and like, oh, that you should be like them, because if you act like them and if you do this like them, you'll be like them one day. And yeah, that's something I really told myself throughout the years of my teenagehood, that hey, listen, this is so unrealistic, and why do you even tell yourself that this is like something which is achievable? And growing up, I've always been like a chubbier kid, and I don't know, something that I really do struggle with is like weight loss. But like I don't know, I keep on fluctuating between this headspace where I don't know, wanna really be strict with myself, but then the other headspace which is like, hey, listen, accept yourself as you are, love yourself, which is like fine and good. I love myself, like I do love myself as I am present in the present as I am currently, but like losing a few kilos, glowing up a bit, I don't know, doing this, doing that, doesn't sound that bad. Like, I don't know, getting a fresh haircut, getting some contacts, some colored contacts. That would be nice. Doing a light overcast of like some makeup to perfect that skin. Getting a new fashion sense, going shopping. I feel like all of these are like things that I don't know if I want, and I don't know if the media wants me to do it so I can invest in capitalism, and I just give more of my money to to this ideal that everyone has set for themselves and like the standard, which to be honest, I'm like, what do I actually want and what do I truly want? And one of the episodes for this podcast is literally me talking about myself and like telling myself, well, the title of the podcast is I don't know who I am. And it's a loaded topic, and it's a big question to even you ask to yourself, like if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, like do you actually know who you are, and do we actually know what we want? Because we can tell ourselves we want something, but do we actually want it? And it's the same reason as to this podcast. Like, why is there a reason for this podcast? You're just listening to me talk about these things. And in reality, I'm doing it because I want to talk about them. But why are you listening to them? Are you trying to hear me talk about something so it justifies you? That's something else. If you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in to the first episode. I'm really like, oh my god, I have fans. Oh my god, please line up. I'll take a picture and I'll sign an autograph. Just cricket. But yeah, the whole approach to this podcast is gonna be a bit different. It's not gonna be like hectic editing and stuff like that. I want to keep it quite light. Like probably there's no background music, there's no sound effects, there's no like crazy ass editing. Because it's the most raw and it's the most authentic. And although it's not the best for I don't know the watch rate or the viewer attention span, because we live in a day and age where is day and age a word you say, but like we live in a time where people watch TikToks for like 10 seconds and then they move on. But if you're watching this, like if you're watching up until this point, then you are my target audience. Like, please follow, please tune in, please stay in touch. Like, because although I'm doing this as a solo podcast, I'd love to sit down and talk with individuals who think the same way as me. The whole reason I wanted to create this podcast was I would stay up late at night thinking to myself. And one time I opened up about this in a group setting, and more than one person told me that they had the same thing happen to them. And even on TikTok, sometimes I see TikToks of people talking about how they stay up late at night and, I don't know, reflect on life and really spiral out of control about stuff that, I don't know, really you shouldn't be doing. And I feel like if rather than I lay in bed thinking to myself and, I don't know, making myself paranoid and anxious about life, if I just sit down and I talk about it, it'll be much better, not only for me, myself and I, but it'll also be beneficial for like you as a viewer because we're in the same boat. And yeah, if you're in your 20s and you're lonely and you don't know what the fuck you're doing with life, and to be honest, you're just going through it as an individual, join the club, welcome, join the group. I feel like we can relate to so much in life, and yet we don't talk about it as much, and we don't talk about it as much as we should. I feel like the older you become, from like teenage years to like now entering your 20s, you only hang out with the people you know, and you only hang out with the people you work with, and you don't really find yourself hanging out with friends as often. And the friends that you grew up with might not be the same friends that you have now. And it's totally okay to grow out of love or to grow out of the relationship with someone, whether it's friendly, whether it's romantic. But I don't know, it's also good to like just sit down, reflect on life, and understand that I'm not the only person feeling like this. And yeah, this whole podcast is just that. It's me just telling you, hey, it's okay, it's fine, but also telling myself, hey, it's okay, it's fine. Because I'm as scared of life as you are, even though I might sound like I'm not. Like, I actually am scared of like what life has in store for me and like what my life is now that I've officially graduated and I'm entering adulthood. Like, oh my God. Like, I haven't, I haven't thought that I would be at this point 3 years ago. Like, I don't think I ever imagined myself being in my 20s, which is so weird to say because I don't know, growing up, you always tell yourself, oh, it's coming, it's later on in life. And like, it's the same way I act right now when I meet someone who's like in their 30s or like bordering their 30s. I'm like, oh God, I can't imagine myself being that age. But I know that someday, touch wood, nothing happens. Like someday I'll have to face that. And that's scary. But also it's like the nice thing about life is like life goes on, life happens. So like you don't stay a child forever. But you can still have like the mindset of a child, I guess, in a good way. Don't be immature. Don't be irresponsible. But yeah, I don't know. I like late nights, sitting inside, like staying inside and talking. I feel like I'm having so bad. Last night I was at a party, and although the party was nice, although the festival, the club was nice, I had work yesterday, and I had work till like 4 a.m. It was nice. It was a vibe. I just don't get it. I'm not the target audience, and although I work in that field, I prefer doing this. I prefer sitting down and talking, which is so weird, but it's me. And I never really had the phase where I would go out and drink like loads and then, I don't know, get shit faced and then go to a party and then go home. Like, I've always enjoyed the chill parties at home, which we don't really have much in Malta, but in other countries, you get to experience much more of that, mainly Europe. Like, I've been to European house parties, which is quite nice. I do have to say, like, it's much more of a friendly vibe. You get to speak to people, and when people drink, they're much more like, I don't know, they're less scared to share the thoughts that they have, and everyone all of a sudden is having a deep talk about life, which is basically what we're doing, but without the alcohol. Well, if I don't know, if you want to drink, drink. I'm not gonna judge. Personally, the only thing I'll be drinking is chai on this podcast, um, or a coffee, or some water, or a Coke Zero, or a Monster. Yeah. But yeah, that's the entire journey of this podcast. Why I wanted to create this podcast. It's not to be taken too seriously, and I hope like no one expects me to come with some answers that are like crazy or like I don't know deep or like life changing. I'm not gonna be saying anything which is like I'm not gonna be saying anything that you don't know, but maybe I might say something which you forgot about, or maybe you needed to hear right now, or maybe something that you actually didn't know, but like you knew part of it. And yeah, I feel like, I mean, this episode will be kind of short because I'm trying to think of what else I could talk about. But to be honest, I don't really want to stretch it out any longer than it has been. Most of the episodes are going to be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour long. I don't want to keep them going for way too long because I find myself not listening to podcasts that long. I feel like if you talk about something for more than an hour, you're like looping on yourself and you're repeating yourself. So keeping it to an hour max is the best thing because, you cover everything without having to like repeat yourself. I feel like I've spoken enough. I feel like I've shared my part enough. If you enjoyed the first episode of, I almost said Dose of Hafidos. No, that's the old podcast. If you enjoyed the first episode of Late Night Talks, please don't forget to follow. That's something I need to say because subscribing isn't the only thing we do now. So please don't forget to follow on Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcasts on. Rate this podcast 5 stars because it's something that Spotify does. If you're on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcast, I don't know how that works. You tell me. So I don't know. Like, rate it 5 stars. I don't know. I've never used it. So yeah. If you're over on Instagram, please tune into the stories. I'm going to be posting some stories where I ask you guys some questions. You can, DM me if you have any deep thoughts, any deep dark thoughts. Well, not dark. Let's keep it quite lighthearted. I can't deal with dark thoughts. I'm sorry. I have enough of my own. But if you have any thoughts, anything you want to share, any I don't know discussion you feel like you should DM me about, you can either do it through my personal account, which is Hafidos IRL, or you could do it over on the Late Night Talk spot. You can DM me about an episode you want to, you want me to talk about. I'm totally open to like suggestions and feedback, so feel free to tell me anything and everything you want. Yeah, let's keep it an open, shared, safe space for everyone. Um, I feel like that's everything. Yeah. Anyways, bye. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you're listening to this at night, I hope you have an amazing next day. Please go to bed. If it's what time is it? It's currently 3 a.m. I'll be heading to bed soon enough, but please go to bed soon. Please get some late night rest. Please get some nice sleep. Please always remember to take care of yourself. Please always remember to love yourself. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.